In my previous videos, I have mentioned several times about Emperor
伏羲
predicted in around the early of the 3rd millennium BC, and Emperor
皇帝
predicted in the 3rd millennium BC. There were not many real-time records could be found, if any. Most of their legends were collected, such as by Confucius, 551 BC to 479 BC, or later historians, from folklores and folk songs. So, there were a lot of missing links here and there to form a complete and chronologically connected storylines. The earliest detail enough of power succession legend was from Emperor
尧
2356 BC to 2237 BC, to Emperor
舜
sometime between 2294 BC and 2184 BC. And I believed that the society form in that time was a kind of tribal communities, with the emperor as the leader of the tribal chiefs. My first video in this playlist mentioned that Emperor
尧
site was discovered in
Yi
city, not far on the southeast from
相坟
county of
陶寺
archaeological site,
山西
province. Emperor
尧
is also known as
唐尧
who was,
舜
why was,
舜
and what were the capacities and capabilities of
舜
to be the heir of.
尧
After the death of his mother, his blind father remarried and he then had a half-sister and a half-brother. His stepmother and half-brother treated him very badly and forced him to do all the housework, while his father always stood up for his stepmother and his half-brother. But in contrary, he treated them back very well without complaining. In society, with his leadership and other skills,
舜
made a lot of contributions by organizing people for life quality improvements. When Emperor
尧
was old, he summoned his ministers to find a qualified successor. When
舜
was proposed, Emperor
尧
tested
舜
by appointing
舜
as a local official, and married
舜
to his 2 daughters. Despite having power and wealth,
舜
continued to work in the fields and not only kept his own life humbly but also brought the brides, who were used to have good living, to live humbly along with society. This triggered his stepmother and half-brother anxiety and jealousy, so they tried to kill him twice but with failures. Yet, he was not anger nor even revenge on them. On the contrary, he arranged his half-brother for an office, and brought up the sons of Emperor
尧
to be respectful in society. From the legend we learned that Emperor
尧
abdicated his throne to his heir based on the capacities and capabilities, beyond the family or tribal boundaries.
舜
Is also known as
帝舜大舜于帝舜舜帝
or
于舜
in addition, it is also believed that the surname
臣
is his descendant. People believe that Chinese originally occupied the banks of the Yellow River, and from that spot, the nation grew and spread out. The name of the river was taken from the color of its water. It was yellow because it carried so much mud that eventually shallowed out the riverbed. So when a big rush came from upstream, a powerful flash flood destroyed the villages and took many casualties. However, many of the people would stay on the flood risk to take the advantage of the very fertile flood leftover mud. Emperor
尧
already appointed
滚
to manage the flood for more than 9 years but failed. In the reign of Emperor
舜
the son of
滚禹
to 2025 BC, who had been following his father and studying his father's failures, continued his father's work, and finally successfully managed the flood after 13 years of hard work. He made an irrigation system to relieve the water into fields, and made the people along the riverbanks to prosper. During the project, he ate and slept together with the other workers. There is also a saying of
大禹三过家门而不入
or during the 13 years of his project,
大禹
passed his home 3 times but he did not spare a second to stop by. Chinese has an idiom of
大禹治水
or the great 禹 controls the water, to commemorate his great success. Chinese idioms are quite unique that may deviate from Western common understanding. Please refer to my video numbered D019 for more clarification on Chinese idioms. Later, Emperor
舜
appointed him as the prime minister. Impressed by the performance of
禹
capacities and capabilities, Emperor
舜
abdicated his throne to
禹
instead of to his own son. Here again that the abdication to the heir was beyond the family or tribal boundaries.
禹
Is also known as
大禹
because of the non-ego of emperor
尧
and emperor.
舜
In their abdication processes, Confucius honored them as prophets. Emperor
舜
was particularly gloried as the filial piety figure. Therefore, the folklore of Emperor
舜
is very famous in Chinese culture until today. From these two legendary demise abdication processes, people assume that the same demise abdication system was used far since before Emperor
尧
at the end of his reign, because his son
启
showed extraordinary intelligence. Emperor
大禹
abdicated his throne to
启
it then set up the precedence of hereditary abdication system and broke the demise one. Because of his very great contribution of the great Yu controls the water. Many disbelieve that Emperor
大禹
started the hereditary abdication system. So there is another saying that Emperor
大禹
abdicated his throne to
义
tribal chief, and
启
then overthrown the
义
tribal chief to start the hereditary abdication system under
下
Dynasty, 2070 BC to 1600 BC. Some recorded Emperor
大禹
as the founder of the dynasty, and some others recorded
启
as the founder, without putting the
义
tribal chief anywhere on the dynasty emperor name list. Anyhow, Confucius did not honor Emperor
大禹
as a prophet even though the name of Emperor
大禹
was far greater than Emperor
尧
or Emperor.
舜
That's all for this video. And thank you for watching.